Hey, what you reading for?
Hey, what's up, YouTube? Michael here, talking books, literary, horror, classics, and contemporary. Now, the theme of this video is the greatest short story collection of all time. Now, obviously, that is a matter of opinion. I am here to share mine. But recently, I read a short story collection that I thought was amazing and that I thought should be a part of that conversation. So I want to tell you about it. So we'll talk a little bit about various short story collections that I have loved over the years. Then afterwards, I will share with you what I'm currently reading and talk a little bit about my life here in Budapest. We'll save that for after the books. So thank you for clicking on this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support is what keeps this channel going and is greatly appreciated. So let's jump right into it. For short story collections, I like to separate things into genre or literary. For genre, it's quite easy. It's the Edgar Allan Poe short story collections. That was a big part of my formative years. That's what made me such an avid reader and even a writer of horror and dark fiction. I would also have to throw into that category Ficciones by Jorge Luis Borges. If you've been following the channel for a while, you know that I love this work and I often credit it as being a very important collection and spectacular. Also Clive Barker's Books of Blood, again, very much influential in my life and in my own work. But I do want to focus more on literary collections because I recently read Cathedral by Raymond Carver, and I thought it was outstanding. Now, prior to reading Cathedral, I was not familiar with Raymond Carver. I knew the name. He has a reputation of being a great American short story writer. But since I do have a strong preference for novels over short stories, I just never got around to reading him, but that changed over the weekend. Now, prior to reading Cathedral, for me, the high standard for short story collections in literary fiction was Winesburg, Ohio by Sherwood Anderson. Spectacular collection I've read a few times, highly influential. Now, while I'm hesitant to put Cathedral on the same level, I do think it is worthy of being in the conversation, if you will. I was very, very impressed with Cathedral. So let's talk about first who is Raymond Carver. Raymond Carver was an American short story writer from the Northwest, from the state of Oregon. He was born in 1938 and he passed away at the age of 50, 1988. His first collection was published in 1976. It was called Will You Please Be Quiet, Please? And then it was a few years later, in 1981, where he had a big hit with What We Talk About When We Talk About Love. However, 2 years later, 1983, was the publication of Cathedral, which is widely considered his magnum opus, which I believe means that once you finish reading it, a bunny magically appears. That did not happen for me. Could be that I need to brush up on my Latin, but it's still no bunny, but still an amazing collection. What I loved about this collection, first of all, you have to know about Raymond Carver. He did suffer from alcoholism. He struggled with that, and that really permeates these stories. Much of this work in Cathedral is about alcoholism and its effects on people. However, it is never preachy, which I love. I do not like to be preached to. It is quite subtle. In fact, that is the strength, I think, of this work. It's subtlety. It's so understated, but so clear and beautifully crafted are the stories that it just really impressed me, and it created an immersive experience for me. It's almost like reading between the lines, you know? It's how much he manages to say in this collection without coming right out and saying it, which is highly impressive and quite enjoyable. I was very impressed. Like, as a writer myself, I read this book and said, my goodness, Michael, you need to go back to your craft and get to work, because there's another level, you know, to to the craft, which Raymond Carver, I think, displays in this work. Now, this was my first experience with Raymond Carver's work. I do not want to leave it there. I do want to explore more of his work. I think I will probably go back and read another one of the collections, probably what we talk about when we talk about love. I don't know. Do you have any experience with this writer? Have you read his other collections besides Cathedral? Have you read Cathedral? Please let me know in the comment section what you think my second Raymond Carver experience should be. Now let's jump ahead to what I'm currently reading. I have them here. Let's see. If you follow this channel, you know that I've recently moved back to Budapest, which has amazing libraries, and I spent a lot of time at the foreign language library, and I picked out a few books. I'll show you. So firstly, I picked up this book, Train Spotting, by Irving Welsh, because this book came out in 1993, and it was a huge hit, and it was very influential, and I've heard nothing but great things about this book. In fact, this book, I think, and I could be wrong, but I equate this to the kind of the start, or maybe the peak of the male energy period of literature, of publications. At that time in the 90s, publishers were putting out a lot of books that were targeted for men, and I think this was kind of probably responsible for that trend. And then we had, well, American Psycho, I would also put in that category. Then later we had Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk, which came out I think 6 years after this, which was also a huge hit. And today, currently, we are going, the pendulum has swung. So now we are seeing publishers putting out books that are mainly targeted towards women. And I have seen videos, and I have read articles where publishers and readers complain about this, or saying, oh, the men are being neglected, even boys, even young readers. There's not really much out there for men to read. And there are publishers that are making efforts to correct this, but this is just the case of pendulum swinging. In the 90s, we had books for men. Now it's really for women. I'm sure that the trends will change. In any case, I had been looking forward to checking this book out. I checked it out at the library. I read the first page and said, no, thank you. And I immediately DNF'd it. It is written in a Scottish dialect. I would read for you the first paragraph, but I don't want to embarrass myself or insult my Scottish friends. I usually love books that are written in a stylized English, in a patois, as it were. In fact, I made videos about this, and I love that. So it's just right now, in the current situation of my life, I'm dealing with a lot of things, a lot of stress in my life, and I don't have the headspace to work through the patois here. After one page, I decided now is not the time. This is probably a book for me. This is probably the kind of book I would love, because it does seem challenging, and I do love stylized English. But right now, I can't right now. If you've been following this channel, you know that in a recent video, I came out and announced good news. I said, I have this great apartment, and I found a job finally. So the apartment is great, but it turns out the job that I found, it's probably not going to happen. I received a contract offer, but I did not receive a contract, and it looks like I'm not going to receive a contract. So the good news that I shared was probably premature and overly optimistic. So anyway, I'm dealing with a lot of stress. I just don't have the headspace for train spotting at this time. So I immediately put this down. What else did I get? I got this, Le Bonheur dans le Crime by Jacqueline Hartman. She's a Belgian author, and you might be familiar with Jacqueline Hartman because she had a hit with a book called I Who Have Never Known Men. And I believe it was last year, a viewer of this channel said, Michael, you should check out this book called I Who Have Never Known Men. It's amazing. And I did check it out, and it was amazing. And I think this viewer left a similar comment on other booktube channels, because I noticed at that time a lot of booktubers were talking about this book from I think it was from the early 90s or late 80s. And so it made the rounds on BookTube. It impressed a lot of people. It's truly a spectacular book. So I decided I would check out more from Jacqueline Hartman, see what else she has written. And luckily for me, at the Foreign Language Library in Budapest, they have a lot of her books. However, in my research, unfortunately, I discovered that I Who Have Never Known Men is the only book of hers, I think, that has been translated into English. So the bonheur dans le crime, or the happiness in the crime, has not been translated into other languages. But I'm checking this out to see because I want to read more from her. I was impressed with her last book. So it's early going. I just picked this up yesterday. We'll see. It's set in Brussels, which is nice. I can't recall having read a book set in Brussels, and I do like that city. So I'm interested in checking out more from Jacqueline Hartman. What else did I get? I got Ironweed by William Kennedy. I know very little about this book except its reputation. I've heard that it's amazing. I don't remember where I heard that, but it's also kind of short too. From the blurb, we see there's mention of black wit, awesome skill with his place and his people, his compassion for their automaton religion, their pragmatic politics, their warm and violent Irish American lives. So what I am expecting from this book is excellent characterization. And I am definitely more, as a reader, I'm definitely drawn more to characters than I am to plot. And my expectation is that this is going to give me excellent characterization. So we'll find out. Lastly, I also picked up this book, which is missing its cover. And this book is Nights at the Circus by Angela Carter. I don't know anything about this book, except I have had many friends who have told me I need to read Angela Carter, and I have never read Angela Carter, so I think this is one of her more famous books. And so I figured she's an important writer that I should be familiar with. And I'm expecting from this book a little bit of fantasy, a little bit of escape from reality, and I am always down for escape from reality. I have a strong aversion to reality. What has reality ever done for me, you know? So I just would prefer to avoid it, escape from it, and I'm expecting this to allow me to do that. Do you have any experience with Angela Carter? Do you think this is a good choice for my first Angela Carter experience? Please let me know in the comment section below. And to close, I would say I highly recommend Cathedral. And I look forward to connecting with you in the comment section. Thank you for watching. I'll see you at the next video.